Welcome, guys, to the 8th episode of the Film Informer podcast. My name is Josh. This is the Film Informer channel. You are here, guys. We're going to be discussing Conclave today. And, of course, I am joined with Jordan. How you doing, Jordan?
I'm doing good, Josh. How about you?
I am, I'm living a life, man. I was really excited to see Conclave, and we saw it.
We did. I was excited as well.
Very excited to talk about it, man. But, real quick, of course, how have you been doing? How's, your week? What you been watching?
Oh, man. My week right now is chaotic. I'm in the process of trying to get a vehicle, starting a new job.
Let's go.
And everything no longer the self-employed route, which is good, having that guaranteed paycheck. I forgot what that felt like, and it feels nice.
Yeah.
But, other than that, man, I've just been watching a lot of football still. I fully caught up to the Penguin, and oh my goodness, that's the main thing that I'm watching right now.
I wish we could talk about it. Unfortunately, I've still yet to see it. I've yet to see it, Jay. But we will be talking Shogun.
We will.
To make up for it, at least.
Hell yeah.
Towards the end of the episode. So if you're a fan of Shogun, definitely stop by for that, or stick around for that. I mean.
Yeah, it's a great show.
And of course, typically we have been trying to record on Thursdays, but with the schedule changes, we're just making it work and adapting. So if you were looking for this on Thursday, guys, just stick with us, and we'll get episodes out there, and hopefully it'll be routine. But you know what?
Right.
If it's whenever we can,
it's definitely gonna be even if it's not Thursday, it'll still be a week, like one day a week. We just don't know the exact day right now.
That's okay.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
But I just started my new job, so hopefully my schedule can
for sure, man,
change back in a lineup.
No, that's cool. I'm really glad that we got to see this, because I know both of us have had really chaotic weeks.
Yes.
And there's not been a lot of time for consuming all of this plethora of content that we're getting here at the end
flies
of
by us
2024.
At the speed of light, man.
Especially as a gamer and a fan of anime and, of course, a movie lover. It's whew, you really got to pick and choose what you spend your time on and what you want to prioritize. So
you do, and then whatever you prioritize, at least I feel bad for something that gets left out. Like right now, I'm not watching Tower of God season 2. I haven't started Blue Lock season 2,
which is an anime.
It's anime, of course, and it's just I don't have time for a lot of things, and anime is definitely not one of them, and it makes me sad.
Yeah,
it makes me sad, but you really just kind of got a rotation of your interest,
For sure. And I've definitely been trying to dedicate more time to movies, and of course, this is why I really do look forward to every week, knowing that we'll see at least one new movie a week, that is already, makes me really happy. And
same.
I was really looking forward to Conclave when you brought it up to me a few weeks ago. I had not heard of it, and you showed me the trailer, and I was immediately like, Ralph Fiennes,
it looked great.
Vatican, Stanley Tucci, let's go. This looks great.
Political backstabbing, all in.
Yeah, suspicious Catholic activity always piques my interest. I don't know why, and I definitely was not let down by this movie. I really enjoyed it. Just to give you guys a non-spoiler brief review before we jump into the full review, which will have spoilers. I'll just kick it off, Jay.
Okay.
As I said, I think it's great. I already definitely am kind of seeing 4 stars for me. Of course, I do need to sit down and really, well, we're going to really talk about it today.
We are.
So that's going to help.
Into it.
It's going to help. But yeah, I was really impressed. Of course, Ralph Fiennes gave an Oscar-worthy performance.
Year's best performance, I'd say, so far.
Stanley Tucci, whole cast, really. A couple, people who showed up there that I wasn't expecting, and all fantastic. The score, the suspense really worked for me. I grew up in a very religious household. I was by no means Catholic. We were definitely very Protestant, but theology, religion's always been on my mind, and the Vatican is such a and the high order Catholic, that level of Catholicism is kind of scary to me.
I was gonna say scary.
Yeah,
That's
I feel like it's so mysterious. As an outsider, that I think that level, I think they played to that, as part of creating the suspense for the movie, and it really worked for me, for sure.
No, it definitely did, and I was really looking forward to this as well, and I was. Who doesn't love Ray Fiennes? I'm looking forward to seeing him. It looked like, because he hasn't gotten an Oscar yet, so it looks like
he hasn't.
He has not.
What?
Has not gotten. I think he's gotten nominated a couple times. I'm pretty sure, but I don't think he's never won.
Wow.
So I was really looking forward to this movie just based off of that. I'm like, he's looked like he's going for the Oscar, and after seeing it, I think he has a good shot at best lead.
In this year, definitely.
Oh, yeah, for sure. As from what we've seen so far, we got 2 months left. We'll see. Unfortunately, and I understand that I'm going to be in the vast minority here, it just didn't hit for me, this movie, unfortunately. And I think a lot of it has to do with, even though I completely agree with you that the score is phenomenal, that quick violin, it worked every single time. Mm-hmm. I just think the pace made it so hard for me to get invested in the actual plot and the schemes of everything that was going on.
Okay.
And I don't know why that is, to be completely honest with you. Like, it's just, about an hour in, I told you there was a specific scene that we'll get to in the spoiler section of it, where I was watching it and going, the last 20 minutes is going to make or break this movie for me, and whether like I liked it or didn't. Okay. And I thought the last 20 minutes was, especially the ending, the actual ending was very anticlimactic. So I was just like, just didn't really hit for me emotionally or anything, but it's still by no means would I call this a bad movie.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm gonna. We've already kind of disagreed a little bit, but I'm gonna specifically disagree with the climax of the film. I agree with you that the end of the film was anticlimactic, but the climax of the film I thought was the best scene of the movie, which we just talked about. Again, we just saw this movie like a few hours ago, so we've only talked about it briefly, like off podcast for like about 30 minutes. But we'll get there. I want to save that. That's definitely going to be part of the meat of the discussion. And I feel like this is the first movie we've done where we have really differing opinions.
It is. We've slightly, like, I like Transformers 1 slightly more or stuff like that. But no, this is the one.
But we've always been within like a half star of each other.
Correct.
Yeah.
This will be the first one where we're a couple stars off.
A couple stars.
Well,
I feel like you're.
I'm like 2.5 right now.
Really?
It's kind of where in my head.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe. You see, no, because I don't think this movie's. Maybe
let's talk about it and let's see if maybe we can bring some more appreciation for this.
Go see it if you don't want to stick around for the spoiler stuff. Like, don't take what I am saying as.
Go see it. It's gospel. Great. I thought it was fantastic.
Go see it for yourself.
Jordan is in the minority here.
I am. I'm in the vast minority.
It's a very, very well enjoyed movie right now.
It is.
I just before we move on, I thought it was funny that as we were walking out of the theater, you agreed with. Okay, first off, on a Tuesday, this theater was fucking packed.
Packed, bro.
We were like, what the... did a whole Catholic church attend? Like
Tuesday at 2:45.
Tuesday, 2:45, figured we'd be the only ones, or maybe like one of 3 people in there.
Almost sold out.
3 groups. No, we had to sit in the front. I had to sit in the handicap seats. We couldn't sit together, first off.
We could not. And but luckily, though, our theater seats are really good.
It's true.
They recline.
Our theater does have really nice recliners.
But it was an odd seating experience that I didn't think I was going to have with Conclave.
Yeah. We had the ticket guy laughing because we were like, our reaction was very visceral. What the fuck? But no seats?
His reaction was even better because he understood our facial. So he was just like, it's a bunch of old people. He was like, it's a bunch. That's what he said. He understood. But
we were walking out and one of these senior ladies was like, well, there was a group of them and one was like, wow, I really loved the acting. And the friend was like, but the pace. It was so slow. And you were like, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, we were walking behind him and I was like, yep, that's it.
And that was honestly the first time when, like, it was the first reaction I got from you because it was like as we were walking out of the room and we didn't sit together. So I was like, oh, like they didn't think the movie was slow. Okay, interesting.
I know. And I also agreed when I said I agree with that, it was also referring to the acting too. Like,
okay.
Yeah, both.
Acting. Both. Yeah. I think the acting will be, loved by everyone, despite if you were sunk into the...
Well, Ralph Fiennes was... Stanley Tucci, Jonathan Lithgow, they were all great. But this movie lives and dies with Ralph Fiennes. Ralph Fiennes, yeah. And he is fucking fantastic in it.
Yeah.
Like, we've already gushed about him.
I think we've gushed about him a lot. Yeah. And we will a lot more throughout this, nearly hour-long podcast. But yeah, so guys, if you haven't seen the movie yet, go see it. If you are okay with spoilers, stick around, or definitely leave and come back after you've seen the movie. We will be kind of breaking it down. We like to digest it together and sort of give our post breakdown thoughts after, and then we'll be talking some Shogun as well. So
yep.
yeah. But yeah, so this movie opens up, and for me, I thought the tension was built off of almost the very first shot with the music. Because as you said, it had this fantastic violin orchestra that kind of like just keeps the movie breathing. You know, it keeps the movie flowing through what I would agree that there are some slower scenes in the aspect that it's just a lot of people talking. But for me, I never felt like it was slow. And I think the music was a big part of that for me. But the movie pre-title card opens up with the most important and the event that triggers the whole conclave. Great opening. Which is the death of the Pope. And the Holy Father. I think that's how they refer to him. I'm not Catholic, so I don't know all the like terms and stuff.
I was born Catholic. I was raised Catholic, but I honestly don't know. I think it's Heavenly Father.
Yeah, and it was like there was no talking, and they were all talking in Latin for the first couple minutes, and then I think the very first line, or the very first line in English spoken was like, "The throne of the Holy See sect," I think, is vacant, and it was just like that, and then title card, and it was like, all right, so like we know what this, like the movie, you know, there's no suspicion about what the movie's about. Well, that's such a stupid thing to say because the movie's all about suspicion and intrigue, but the movie is called Conclave. It's about the motherfucking conclave, you know, and if you don't know what the conclave is, it is when all of the cardinals, which are the basically upper levels of leaders in Catholicism, they get together and elect a new pope. And until a new pope receives 66% of the votes by the cardinals, until that happens, they will stay there, and it could take days. It could take weeks.
Oh yeah.
And they're locked in there. They have no access to the outside world. It's very much, you know, they are there until they can come to an agreement, and that I think lends itself into being an intense movie because I think as a concept, the conclave seems intense. Like I can imagine being
even
there.
In real life for sure.
Yeah, well, especially in real life. I think it's, you know, this movie is drawing inspiration from an event that's very well not known to people, you know, because that's you have to be in that world to really know what's happening in there. Like none of us really know what's going down in there. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many secrets in that upper echelon of Catholicism.
Scary secrets.
Yeah, I mean, some that have been getting uncovered, and there's been a lot of controversy and hate. And I don't think that this movie draws any sort of hate towards Catholics. I don't think it's any sort of smearing, and I appreciated that because I sort of feared it being like a very anti-Catholicism movie, but I don't think it is at all. I don't think so either. I think it actually has a really great message, honestly, and we'll get into that later. But I really thought that the message of the movie, and I thought it was powerful. It definitely hit for me in the climax scene towards the end. So they basically are, you know, it's like whenever anybody dies except a very important person has died, and they, you know, have to put him in a body bag, and they show his body being rolled off, and it's I feel like that was honestly a really powerful opening because the Pope is such an important person, but it kind of shows they weren't handling his body with any sort of extra care, if that makes sense. I feel like
I didn't think about that.
They were purposefully showing his body kind of get tossed around and you know, zipped up, and they even like slam him into the trunk like without much, like it's not like the Pope died, we're gonna proceed. Oh, no. Like it's just some paramedics, and they're just like, all right, another guy died, let's get him in the trunk, you know, and then he's just bouncing around, and like as the title card comes up, it's literally just the Pope's dead body bouncing around in the back of a truck.
I didn't even think about that until now.
Yeah, so I thought that was powerful. I was like, ooh, I like that. Like I really dug, you know, it kind of jumps right back into that scene, right? So we're there in the room, they're trying to basically figure out what happened, how did he die. There's not like any, let's get a detective here, someone murdered the Pope. Like that's never the vibe, right? It's like he's old, he died of natural causes, right? But who was the last person who saw him, you know? And
that's instantly brought up. And
it's this guy named Tremblay who's in the room there. The guy who seems to be running the show is, of course, Ralph Fiennes, the main actor who plays Lawrence. Him and Aldo seem to be the closest friends to the now dead Pope. And I think it's important to say that this is not based on a true story.
Right. I was waiting to jump in and say that, like, it's modern day. This takes place in modern day.
This is modern day, not based on a true story. But I I was questioning if it was the whole time because the characters felt real.
Yeah, they did.
It felt like they were basing these on real people, and it all just worked so really well. And again, it is based on a book, a very, renowned book that, does its best to kind of give us a peek into this world of the Vatican and tell this important story.
When was the first time in the movie where you were like, oh, this takes place in modern day? Because for me, it was whenever the camera, it was the first time where all of the the main people of the conclave were in the
square smoking cigs.
But it wasn't even the cigarette. It cut to
guy on the phone.
That almost made me laugh for whatever reason. It just randomly cuts to, and he's just like slunched in his chair on his smartphone. I was like, oh, okay. So this isn't a period piece.
I knew the whole time it was modern day. The trailers. I'm not sure. I never questioned if it was modern day or not, but. That was actually like that moment as well because it kind of humanized these cardinals very quickly.
I loved every scene they met in that square. It felt like a hub, like they're in recess.
They were at recess.
They're at recess, and like you got these groups over here, and like they're all talking.
So they're with the Pope, and they're trying to get all of the. Get the record straight. What happened? Who was the last person who meets him? They call in Lawrence, who, again, kind of seems to be running the show. It seems like he was the closest confidant.
He's the dean.
He's the dean, right? He kind of runs things. Man, anytime someone says dean, I think Dean from Community.
Me too. Every single time they said it in the movie.
Dean. Jesus, Community. What a show.
What a show indeed.
So Tremblay... There's a line from Tremblay where he says, and who plays Tremblay? You said that earlier. Right?
Jonathan Lithgow.
Great performance in here.
Oh, he was terrific.
But he's like, Lawrence asks, why was I not brought in yet? Like he's dead. This has been going on for a few hours. Like, why am I just getting the call? And Tremblay is like, well, I wanted to get the facts straight before involving anyone else. And he's like, how rumors start. And I think to me, that was the first thing that clicked in my brain. Like, okay, something's wrong there, Oh,
absolutely. He immediately brings in that energy that and I think this is before you even know that he's the last person to speak with the Pope. I think this is beforehand.
That all happens in the same scene.
Right. I think
really
after,
quick, yeah.
And no, right away you're like, okay, you either did something or you know something.
Right.
Absolutely right away. So the first 10 minutes set up the mystery very, very well.
And it's very ominous.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
And then it jumps to 3 weeks later, and we're introduced to Sister Agnes at this part. I'm a little bit on Sister Agnes's character. I don't think she was utilized enough, but it made a point of introducing her almost immediately after the title card, and it brought her in. She didn't have any lines. It just kind of showed her in the background. She was in charge of all of the nuns, I guess, or the sisters is how they call them, who basically are kind of like maids. And I think maybe that is kind of why they stressed her as a character, is to show the crazy difference between a male and female's role in Catholicism, because they're pretty much just like maids. Like, they're cleaning up, they're making dinner.
And that's even, not to jump, but her final scene, her final monologue, towards the end of the
is powerful.
Is very powerful, and it kind of goes to what you're talking about. I don't know the exact line, but it's a really good one pertaining to what you're saying.
So if everything was to build up to her kind of character climax, I'm like, cool, I get it. It also seemed like they could have utilized her more. I guess that's my only complaint, is I wish I had got more Sister Agnes.
I do too, because it kept cutting to her. It's not like she doesn't have a ton of screen time, but she has enough to where you feel her. At least I felt her scenes, and I'm like, okay, do something with her.
Because again, she's introduced almost out immediately, but she doesn't really get that much lines until later.
Right, until the whole thing with her underling sister happens with the other Pope that we'll get into. Right,
and that's definitely some important stuff.
Oh yes,
I have a lot of notes for this movie, because even though I feel like it's 2 hours of really fast. Basically, not fast-paced dialogue, but there's so much that kind of happens in each scene, I feel like, and the story moves so well. Again, that's really me, because we differ here. Like, you thought it was kind of slow, and I'm just over here taking all these goddamn notes. Like, how do you think it's slow, man? I got a whole book written over here.
I think it's slow because I just wasn't.
Because you weren't.
I wasn't in. Like, I don't think it was as suspenseful as it thinks it was for me. Like, I never after that opening scene. That opening is great, absolutely. After that, though, it kind of just goes and goes, and I was waiting to be gripped. I was waiting for something, part of the mystery, to really feel the stakes, and I never felt the stakes like I felt like I should have, and that's really the main reason.
Gotcha.
And because of that, it could feel slow.
Well, yeah, I gotta disagree though, because again, the next thing that happens here is they're locked in, right? The conclave starts, right? So they're all stuck here. There's a word they use, sequestered, I believe. Sequestered, I think that's the word. But basically means they can't legally make contact with anyone outside of who's there at the conclave. And that, to me, again, builds the suspense. I thought the tension kept growing with that, because being locked somewhere with people who aren't all that friendly
should feel that way.
Scary, you know? Yeah. And so that really worked for me. And so Lawrence is rooting for Aldo, and this is kind of where the politics start. And it's not all very face forward, I'll say, at the beginning. It kind of slowly dulls it to you, or like hands it out to you, like why Aldo's important.
It gives you little hints every scene.
Who's fighting who, you know, the politics of all of it. And so Aldo, he is Stanley Tucci, another great performance.
Always great.
He does not want to be Pope, but I feel like not wanting to be Pope is what the cool kids do. You know, like I didn't buy that from Stanley Tucci's character.
No, me neither.
At all. Which I did buy it from Lawrence later on, but I felt like Aldo was like just saying that to say that, because I feel like it's the quote is the Pope won't want to be Pope, you know?
Well, right. Well, he even says that later in the movie. He kind of says that to Lawrence, where he's I forgot exactly what he says.
So he kind of like exposes himself.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I feel like he definitely wanted to be him, and it seemed like a good character. Like he's a younger guy. He does represent like the progressive.
He does.
Mindset in Catholicism, which is kind of the Catholicism we're living in now, you know, where, you know, homosexuality is accepted. It's not deemed as like punishable by hell and that kind of stuff.
Right. That was a great line, by the way. By Aldo. I love that line.
And that's, you know, that's kind of the politics of the Catholics, I feel like, in the world we live in now, unless I'm incorrect. Again, I'm not super intelligent about all this stuff, but as far as I'm aware, that's kind of okay. Like, Pope Francis is really progressive. And
in majority, yes. In majority, yeah. But there is a certain group of people in Catholicism that still have the old school.
Yeah. Especially where we live, because we're in South Louisiana.
That's why I say small group, because I really don't think it's like that everywhere.
Well, I'm talking mainly about the Vatican and about
the people who matter,
upper
who
echelon.
Make the decision.
Not the guys in South Louisiana. But there's a great line here from Aldo where he's talking to Lawrence, and they're kind of speaking about the old Pope, and it seems like the Pope was struggling with his faith, and Lawrence asks him, I think Lawrence, or it's either Aldo asks Lawrence or Lawrence asks Aldo, but one of them says, "In God," and the other one responds, "No, never about God. What he lost faith in was the church." Oh,
Lawrence asks Aldo about that, and then Aldo says that to.
That was a great
It was
line.
a great line.
I think that might be the first quote I recorded, or second one actually, and yeah. So we learn some gossip here. We are another bit of tea, right? The second hint of suspicion and wrongdoing in the background, which does relate to old boy Tremblay again, and it's that apparently in this last meeting that no one knew about, because the only person there was Tremblay, and the, I guess, like sidekick to the Pope. It seemed like he wasn't that important, but he was just like his best friend who was hanging out with him at the time. That kind of character they bring in. I don't even have a name for this guy.
No, he's only in one scene.
He pours the tea. Yeah, he's in that one scene, and basically he was the last person to speak with the Pope. Actually, it wasn't an official meeting. He just was speaking with him, and he learned the tea that Tremblay was actually supposed to be dismissed and basically fired and, you know, get the fuck out of here. And that's important because he is one of the leading guys to become Pope. This is when the conclave has started. We find this out, you know, as the doors are shutting, and Lawrence is like, basically in his own words, you know, why the fuck did you not tell me this before? Like, bro, Like, we could have got him out of here if I knew this before today, but like, there's nothing I can really do about it.
Nope. And Ralph Fiennes plays it so well because you see Lawrence slipping throughout very subtly.
Yes.
Like he's aggressively grabbing his hat. He's aggressively like tightening on doors. So like this was the start of it. Mm-hmm. Like, why did you not tell me this before? And I just loved how he plays it.
The tension in this movie and his blood pressure are at the same
rising
level.
Throughout the movie. Oh,
and it starts off high for him because like you said, I think the opening shot is him like gripping his hat and like stressing the fuck out and breathing heavily.
And it doesn't help that then Tremblay comes in. Well, after Lawrence asks to speak with him, and then you can tell Tremblay is just total bullshit. Like he's like, what? And Lithgow is so great.
Well, this is a bit later. We are jumping a little bit.
Oh,
ahead
it's
here.
not the same scene.
No, it's not the same scene.
I thought it happened kind of like a little bit after.
But so yeah, just to keep the flow going here, we're about to get there, Jay. But the next thing that happens immediately is we find out about basically the tensions rise even more when a cardinal shows up that nobody knows. A suspect cardinal from Afghanistan, which is like a place that no one has a mission. There's no popes from this part of the world. He shows up. Apparently, he has legitimate papers where he was, sworn in by the Pope himself, but he's never talked about this guy. But he shows up, and everyone's like, let's get him out of here. Like, we don't have to accept him. And Lawrence is like, no, like, this was the Pope. The Pope signed this. He's the cardinal. Like, he's sticking around. And this character ends up becoming very important to the role, and he's almost like the titular character in the story. Oh. Again, this is Benitez.
Benitez. I didn't want to butcher his name.
So that happens again. That's another third note of like, oh man, like things are happening in the background, and we're not necessarily sure, and we can kind of see that this is going somewhere. And then we're introduced to Tedesco, who I thought was funny because off the bat he's vaping. He's just like puffing down, you know what I'm saying? He's got he's a very, I would say, fun Italian dude. I feel like he's got some good spaghetti cooking at his house, you know what I'm saying? But he represents the conservatives of the Vatican.
And very much old school conservative.
Old school, right.
Old school.
Because he's even like, we should all be speaking motherfucking Latin here. He's like, look at all these different races in here. He's like, you know what? We haven't had a fucking Italian pope in 40 years. Like, we need an Italian fucking pope right now. And he's like serious about it.
Dead set about this.
Yeah.
He has a line towards Lawrence where he's just like, I forgot, Lawrence like, I don't want, this certain group to be pope. And then he's just like, well, what about the alternative? And then he like points to the black pope. And I'm like, oh, this dude's okay. Yeah. He's one of those.
Yeah, he points to Adame, who's another big character that we will dive into.
Yes.
So the scene after this. Oh, also one more thing to add is that Lawrence himself is Italian, right? So that's why he's Latin. So that's why he relates to. I mean, they all speak Latin. You have to speak Latin to be a cardinal. Right. So everyone in the room speaks Latin, but that's their language. That's obviously the Vatican's in Rome. If you didn't know that, so they're in Rome. But yeah, Vatican's in Rome, so that's where they're hanging out. And then we get to that scene that you were talking about with Tremblay rejecting the accusations that he was dismissed. Digging deeper the grave that Tremblay was placed in at the start of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Jonathan Lithgow is purposely playing him like, what? Me? Never. Like, I don't think he's supposed to be believable. Like Tremblay himself, I don't think he's supposed to be believable in that scene.
Yeah, it's almost like he really doesn't think anything's gonna happen. He's like, I got this in the bag.
He's totally plays like he's oblivious to it.
He does not think that anyone's gonna stand up to him, and I think that's why Lawrence is so fucking badass in this movie, because Lawrence is just like, to a T, he is the Pope's gangsta best friend. He really is. He takes his position as the dean so importantly to a point where he's even breaking rules towards the end to like make sure that the Pope's will goes forward. And I love that about him.
I did too, and I'm so glad they went that route, because the trailer kind of made it seem to be like he was going to be the villain a little bit, like maybe he was pulling the strings in the background. The
trailer was really I'd say ominous, and it didn't really it was really suspicious. Like, it didn't know who's who. Yeah,
it was ambiguous.
Ambiguous. That's the word I was looking for. And so, yeah, and now we find ourselves on the first vote, the first day of the procedure of where they're all locked in the church, and they all have to very traditionally, and it's very ceremonial, them voting the way they do it. And I actually really enjoyed the shots of the Vatican and the artwork, and I've always been interested in Rome, and I just loved the setting, even though it was very enclosed, again, to build the tension, I still appreciated the setting very much so.
And they did the voting, even though it's modern day, very old school style. Put a name in a barrel.
Yeah, and then they burn them.
And
yeah,
then,
it's very much it's traditional, and
it is.
That's why I think the Catholics are so creepy in their own way, because they're so traditional, and they stick to these traditions, and I really do admire it, because I love history. I love medieval shit, and
Right.
I just feel like the Catholics are holding on to a lot of that, and it's cool. To me, it's cool. Now, obviously, there's some real ominous shit really going down in the Vatican, most likely in real life, and I don't know that much about it, so I'm not saying I'm for all of this, but I think it's cool as a setting.
Well, and it is. I mean, aesthetically, it is also really cool.
So that first vote is unsuccessful. Again, they need a winner of 66%. Obviously, it wasn't going to end here. That would have been a really boring movie. But the vote did not go well, and Lawrence ends up with a vote. And
it's the last thing Lawrence wants.
He did not want to fucking vote. He wants to resign. He's trying to fulfill his obligation to the old pope, and then he's like, I'm out of here. And there is kind of an internal conflict going on in him where he is struggling with his faith. And it seems like he never really gives a clear answer about what his issue is, but it seems like he's having trouble praying. It seems like maybe he's struggling with his whole faith in general. And that, plays a big part of his character. And of course, their whole plan, the basically progressive Catholics' plan, was to get Aldo voted in. So when they find out that Lawrence got a vote, they're like, Lawrence, what the fuck? Why are you campaigning for yourself? Like, we need to campaign for Aldo if he's going to win. And that becomes kind of the next conflict, right? Where throughout the next few votes, Lawrence gets more votes and Aldo gets less votes. Meanwhile, the conservative people, Tremblay and Tedesco and Adame are getting all the votes. And Adame himself, who we haven't even really talked about yet, is in the front runner.
Right.
He's the front runner. And then we kind of dive into his character. He kind of becomes the next main focus of the movie. Do you have anything to add to this? I feel like this is the first 40-ish minutes that we've covered here. At this part, were you kind of is this when you were not feeling the voting structure of that movie, day one, day two, day three?
Absolutely.
Okay.
No, for sure. When the first voting happens, it felt like it lasted 10 minutes, that whole scene. But I thought the second day was as well, honestly. The whole voting process at the beginning, I was not feeling it. I wasn't really feeling the suspense, but it did have. When did the monologue happen with Ralph Fiennes? The about faith.
That's actually I skipped that, so that's a great thing. Thanks for bringing that up. But I even missed the quote there I had recorded, but that happens before the first vote on the first day.
On the first day, love that monologue.
Yeah,
love that whole monologue, because I do think the themes and message here are great to talk about, and they're really grand and they're really big, and it really
is. To kind of stick on that scene for a second, Jay. I love that he was doing the whole Latin procedure thing, and he's just like, "Fuck this!" Can I speak from the heart for a second?
He literally says,
and
"Can I speak from the heart?"
That's when he drops bars, and basically I wish I could write down the whole paragraph, but
right.
I recorded the end, which is, if there was only certainty and no doubt, there would be no need for faith. And that's I thought that was the heart of what he was saying. And
for
it was
sure.
that you can't be certain, right? And he was talking to everybody, all the different,
he was
political sides, the conservatives, the liberals. He's like, you can't be certain in your views. You have to doubt yourself, because if you don't and you're believing in yourself, you're not leaving room for God. And that's what this is all about.
Right.
That was powerful as fuck.
And this is the whole speech. I know it's kind of random, but it made me appreciate Star Wars more. It made me,
Why?
Because that's what Yoda says. Yoda's is absolute is the dark side.
That's a good point. He's fucking Yoda, dude.
That's what I was thinking the whole time. I was like, bro, this made me appreciate Star Wars so much fucking more.
He's fucking Yoda, bro.
He's fucking Yoda.
Wow. So that's, I'm glad we went back to that, because that was a phenomenal scene.
It was.
And that to me was, I think, made the next, because the first few days of voting are kind of boring and it is very procedural. But I think they were just trying to move the story forward there, to get to the third day of voting as fast as possible. So, I think that speech kind of just like gave me enough energy where I was just like, I was like super into it, But by day 3, Aldo is basically quitting. He's down to 9 votes. He's like, I'm done. He's like, Lawrence, you probably gotta, like, if you're getting more votes than me now, so you take the reins. But really, also I had a line about, I was like, Sister Agnes finally gets her first line. What the fuck is she doing in this movie?
You wrote that on your notes? That's awesome.
Because I was like, and it was still a small line. And basically, the situation with Adame unfolds. He is I'm butchering his name, by the way. But he is, it seems like, from Africa, or, I'm not exactly sure where he's from, but he's definitely not.
Nigerian, right?
Nigerian, is that what it was?
I think so.
Basically, there is kind of like a situation in the cafeteria, right? Like what, at the school lunch, there's a situation, there's some drama, right? And it shows him storm off, and we don't know exactly what happens, but Lawrence sees it, and he goes to confront the nurse the sister that was basically serving Adame, and it turns out that was Adame's baby mama.
Right.
Someone brought his baby mama to the conclave. And it's noted where they had relations.
He was a 30-year-old man, and she was 19.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, and it's really kind of heartbreaking because of his mistake. He's not going to be the Pope, and Lawrence breaks it down for him
that was a heartbreaking scene. It was a sad scene
in such a gangster way. He's just like, I'm sorry, brother, there is no way. He's like, I don't even have to say anything. He's like, you've lost.
And he didn't even, I love that he didn't beat around the bush, though.
Yeah.
Like, he was optimistic, and even though Adame was still optimistic about it.
Because, he was like, you won't say anything. He's like,
he said there's still hope.
There's still hope. And he's just like, there is no hope.
There is no hope, man. It's over for you.
He's like, how rumor spreads here. And sure enough, the next vote, he is down to just 7 votes. He was at like 33, and he's in last place. That was heartbreaking.
So speaking of the cinematography, the final shot in that last vote where it's just him all alone.
Yeah, it shows
get up,
that's
a great shot.
All the different contenders in the election, and like it blurs out everyone else, so it's just them sitting there and their reactions to what just happened. And
I love that.
How one rumor can really
just change everything.
And being the Pope is like winning the video game for a cardinal, right? It's like the end game, it's everyone's dream, right? I think that's also a line in the movie where they're like, don't fool yourself. Every one of us here wants to be the Pope. And basically who brought the baby mama there becomes the next moment of intrigue, right. But we're not there quite yet. This leads us into the 4th vote. Again, Tremblay is now in the lead, right? So the guy from the beginning of the movie who we're already suspicious about is basically about to win. Like, he's right there. Adame, he's in last place. Aldo's already kind of accepted his loss, and he's like, we have to back Tremblay. He's like, if we don't back Tremblay, then Tedesco wins, which means
sets the
Trump,
church back.
The MAGA Catholics win. And I think that's why this movie is so timely and why it is released right now and why it's important, because it's really representative of our election.
It is.
Right now. And basically he says Tedesco, and again, I'm probably butchering that name, but he wants to bring us back 40 years of progress. He wants to undo everything the Pope just did, which Aldo and Lawrence are like best friends. Like, they were like the closest cardinals to the Pope. So they're like, yeah, we can't let that happen. We have to back Tremblay. And that is why the next dirty suspicion uncovery is so juicy.
Before we get to that, because in that scene where they talk about Tremblay being because Lawrence does not want Tremblay to be,
because he's very suspicious of him.
He's very suspicious of him from all the information he's been given throughout the movie about him. But to your point, Aldo tells him, "Is this what we're reducted to? Voting for the least worst option?" Lawrence tells that to Aldo, and I that's one of my favorite lines in the movie.
He'd almost rather Tedesco win,
correct,
than Tremblay. But Aldo and the rest of the progressives are like, nah, fuck that.
Nah, yeah, we can't do this at any cost.
And then there's another. So I think I didn't write down a note enough of these scenes, but there are scenes where Benitez, the guy from Afghanistan, and Lawrence have conversations. Their first conversation is after the first vote, when Lawrence discovers the only vote he got was from Benitez. And he's like, I don't want it.
He's like, well, you
it's a
have
great
it.
line.
You have it.
He's like, I'm sorry, but you have my vote. He's
Yeah.
like, you should be the leader. And so, yeah, I wrote down now, I was like, Benitez just won't stop voting for Lawrence because
Just
Lawrence
won't
is like
stop.
yelling at him. He's like, please, like,
I don't want to.
because there seemed like Benitez seems to be gathering a kind of
Following.
because he
to
also
vote for
gets
him.
some votes. He's
He
also
does.
like, he's getting like the least amount of votes, but he's, oddly getting some votes, right? I think the first day he has 1 vote, and I was like, did he vote for himself? But no, it's clear that he's voted for Lawrence. So from day one, and I think this is important later on in the conversation as well. From the first day, he had a follower, and his followers slowly built. And Lawrence trying to sway Benitez's vote was trying to sway like 8 or 9 other votes, because by this point he was getting like 4 or 5 votes himself.
Right.
Lawrence was getting votes, so he was like, please stop fucking voting for me. Like, we need you to vote for, like, I think this point it was,
I think it was still Aldo at this point.
yeah, I think
so.
Lawrence he didn't want to give up on Aldo.
No, yeah, he did.
So yeah, now Sister Agnes finally comes in clutch. Tremblay and Sister Agnes discover that it was, or Lawrence and Sister Agnes discover that it was Tremblay who orchestrated bringing Edamame's. I'm saying edamame at this point. Fucking edamame, dude. His baby mama.
I think we've given him like 5 names already, dude.
Yeah,
it's
it's
so
hard.
good.
Let's just call
It's
him Addie. So Addie's baby mama to the conclave. Lawrence, obviously this is dirty. This is foul play, right?
Oh,
so
extremely.
Lawrence just confronts Tremblay and he's like, bro, like, withdraw your name. Like, that was fucked up. Like, you shouldn't have done that. And Tremblay was like, he had a really good line in that scene to Lawrence where he's like threatening Lawrence's own ambition. He's like, you yourself have been a very ambitious Lawrence. And, at this time we're like, we know Lawrence does not want to be Pope at all.
Correct.
But from the other side's perspective, he feels like he's fighting Lawrence for the Pope seat.
Well, of course, because Lawrence is he's being told plays brilliantly into why he doesn't want the position he's in. He's being told every single secret, all the gossip. So he has to deal with this stuff. So when he deals with it, it makes it look like he's trying to knock down the competition for himself.
But he lots of times is constantly saying like, I'm just here to be the fucking dean,
right?
Because that's what I was appointed to do. Like, he tried to quit before this,
yes,
but the Pope made sure he didn't quit for this moment, which is actually in this exact scene that we're talking about, where he's talking to Sister Agnes, and she's kind of having a hard time letting Lawrence look into the stuff with the sister and what happened. But he's like, look, I am just here because the Pope asked me to be here. He's like, I just want to make sure this goes down right. That's my only goal. And she kind of like, she was really close to the Pope as well in her own way. So she kind of accepted that, like, this is a genuine, like, he's not just playing politics. Like, he really wants to make sure this goes down correctly.
Right.
And with that as not enough heat to bring down Tremblay, Lawrence is like basically at a dead end. And at the dead end is the fucking Pope's room that's sealed off and you're not supposed to go in there.
No.
And he just, without much thought, just goes up to it and he just snaps the seal and he's like, I'm
that, by the
this.
way, because before he snaps the seal, the violin was going ham.
Dude,
like, it
dude.
was just like, no, and then he just does, bop, and then it just goes silent.
I picture the violinist just like shredding flames, just like, like
faster.
through the fire and flames type shit. But yeah, you're right. And
I love
the
that
silence and the tension like snaps.
Yeah, I love that. I love when that scene.
Yeah, and he thankfully, through some very Sherlock Holmes type shit, discovers some hidden documents in the headboard of the bed. Like, very lucky God move there. I feel like if you asked him, he'd probably say it was God who made me find that.
Probably. It's not even joking. Probably so.
Yeah, because there was a God moment. And yeah, he finds documents that basically prove that Tremblay bought votes, which is obviously illegal.
Right.
And the Pope had this knowledge, and that is why he fired Tremblay. Tremblay, piece of shit.
Absolute piece of shit.
Piece of fucking shit. And I fucking love what Lawrence does next.
Oh, when he just gives the documents out to the entire conclave.
I love how it the way it shows us that this is his motive is he's in the copy room like trying to make copies and he's like struggling, and Sister Agnes is like, I'll help you with that, and she looks at it and she sees what it is and she looks at him and she's like, how many copies? And he names exactly the amount of cardinals and she's just like,
gotcha,
got him.
Him.
And then of course it shows them distributing, like the sisters are distributing them on the dinner table. Cuts to everyone kind of reading them and just reacting, and Tremblay's like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is bullshit. Like, I didn't do any of this.
Oh yeah, being super defensive like he was
down to the bone. And he swears that the Pope asked him to bring
like,
the baby mama to, he's like, I don't know why he asked me to do that. Yeah, he was not pleading guilty at all.
No, not at all. But that scene is great because that scene you also get Sister Agnes's monologue that we talked about earlier. You get her at the end of that scene.
Yes, and I did not have enough time because there was a lot going down here. Did not have enough time to write down that quote, but she does. I think it's actually in the trailer. I think part of that line is in the trailer.
She says something like, "We have y'all want us to be silent, but we have eyes and ears." Or something. It's like
the sisters are not here, or the sisters are just here to, be maids basically.
Serve
but we have eyes and ears, and I have to say this, and she confirms. She confirms that. Everything that Lawrence said was true.
And basically just drop the mic and then dip.
Fuck you, Tremblay.
Fuck you.
Yeah. And that was her like big moment.
It was.
And then she pieces out.
Yes. For the rest of the movie, I don't think she's in the...
She appears with no more lines.
Okay.
Yeah. But she's there. She's reacting throughout the rest of the movie. Yeah. So at this point, the battle is like basically everyone's voted off the island. And it's now Tedesco or Lawrence. Right? Right. And it's like one of them is going to win. And it seems to me, I thought Lawrence won. I was like, Lawrence has got it in the bag.
I thought he was going to win too.
Because he just came out and it seemed like he was very confident in calling out Tremblay. And if I was in that room, I would have been like, I want Lawrence as Pope. Like he's not afraid to call out bullshit. Like there is one more big scene that we have to talk about. And, well... I'm getting a little mixed up here. What happens is Lawrence writes down his name on his ballot, right? He's going to drop it in to vote, and then the fucking bomb goes off.
Which I didn't think was real at first in the movie. For like a split second, I was like, is he imagining this?
Because it's kind of like, like it drops the bomb. Like he's voting for himself. He's accepting, I'm going to be the fucking Pope, And I'm there with you. Like it could have been metaphorical.
I'm glad I wasn't the only one that felt that way then.
No, I thought so as well, but it was actually a bomb.
A real bomb.
Which, again, it's modern day, very realistic. I feel like there was probably multiple bombings of the last vote, and I'm not sure. I would just guess.
Very small detail, but I appreciated this detail. After the bomb scene and every scene for the rest of the movie, every single Pope has dust.
Yeah.
Or some shit.
Just the residue of it.
Just the residue of it, and they all have like cuts for like the entire rest of the movie. Yeah. Very small detail, but
at this point we're in like the last 30 minutes of the film.
Correct. Yes.
Because this is the climax. I'd say the bomb going off and the scene following is, I think, the climax and I think the best part of the movie. As you said earlier, if it all built up to something, it'd be worth it. I think this is what it was all building up to. And it's the scene where Tedesco, he's had some lines. He's kind of talked his shit, walked his walk. But this is when he's like really campaigning hard. And he's like, we're at war right now.
Oh, yeah. His full intentions are...
the straight MAGA... I'm just using MAGA because it's so similar. But, he gives his Trump speech like hand in the
all
air.
All it was missing was a gunshot.
Bleeding.
Yeah, it was just missing a gunshot.
He's like, we're at war. Like, we need someone who's going to fight at these motherfuckers. The politics definitely leans itself into being like about the Muslims. And he's like, we've accepted the Muslims. Like, we can't accept the Muslims. We can't accept the Islamic people here. And then we get motherfucking Benitez with, I think, the best fucking bomb drop of the whole movie. And it's his counter speech. And he's like, brother, what do you know about war?
And just stood up and spoke gospel.
And this whole time, he's just kind of been in the background and no one really knows this guy. And I love the framing of that shot, bro. Because he's like fucking Jesus in that shot. Like the way everyone's sitting, he's like right in the middle and no one's sitting in like anywhere close to within a circle. He's so ostracized. And the way the lighting is, like it's dark, but like he's right in the middle of the light, and it's almost like he's fucking God in that scene, basically.
Even his hair, like his long.
He's got the
like,
Jesus hair. He's got the right
hair.
skin color. Like he is legitimately like Jesus. But anyway, no, I fucking love that monologue from him, and that leads us into the final vote. Right after that, right? And again, me and you were on the same page. We both were expecting Lawrence to win at this point.
Yes, I was 100%.
But lo and behold,
Benitez. I keep mixing Bellini and Benitez.
I think Aldo Bellini.
Yes, you are correct.
Bellini is Aldo.
Right,
Benitez is the guy from Afghanistan. He wins. But the tea is not finished being poured yet.
Nope. We had another nugget.
The movie ends with a final big gulp of tea, which honestly, I loved it, bro. I thought it was such a fucking expectations just whoop, like complete left turn.
No, yeah, it comes out of nowhere.
It did, but it makes sense.
Yeah,
I think it makes sense, and I think again because earlier people they were liking this new guy, like he was getting votes, like he had a following. I feel like there were people who knew his story in the community. I think some people may have knew his story and have been secretive about it, and
it's possible because the Pope knew. It's confirmed that the Pope knew. So it's possible.
So basically, he had went to get a sex change.
Right.
That was the document, and the receipt was uncovered that the Pope actually set up an appointment and was going to pay for him to go get a sex change, which is very I'm sure a lot of conservatives saw this movie, and that's why on Google it has like it's 5 stars and then 1 stars. Like,
right.
The people who this offended politically, I can get, and you know what? I think fuck them. Right. That's where I'm at.
Literally gonna say, and if you do get offended, fuck them.
That's where I'm at.
Fuck them.
And
no, I'm with you on that.
Basically, the story is that he was born with the uterus. He is a man, but he has the inner workings of a uterus.
Correct.
So he has ovaries, and that makes him not a man or a woman. It just makes him who he is. And he was just like, the Pope was going to pay for him to get the ovaries removed so that he'd be a full man, so that he can continue to be a cardinal. But he decided no. And I'm unsure if the timeline of that, if the Pope knew he rejected their surgery or not. I don't think it really matters.
I don't know.
Basically, they just elected a woman or a they to
them
be Pope.
To be Pope.
So that is the final twist of the movie, and it's kind of just like another bomb drop. It's like you did not expect this, but this is where we ended up, and I thought it was very powerful.
No, because you feel like it's the right choice. Like it doesn't feel cheated. Like no,
Lawrence gets
doesn't.
to quit. He gets to leave. He didn't want to be Pope. He did not end up Pope. It's a happy story. It's a happy ending for everyone, but Tedesco and the conservatives.
Right. The good guys won, which I didn't think they were gonna. Yeah. Like based on the trailer.
Right. I was unsure about
the
ending too. So a happy ending was surprising, and then it even threw in some like extra symbolism that I didn't understand at the end there.
So here's the maybe anticlimactic is not the right word. So you say that Lawrence was happy because he gets to quit, and I think so too. But I don't know if this is what you mean, the symbolism you're talking about. But there's a shot where he walks out and he kind of looks back, and I don't think he's looking at anything because the camera it's just him walking out, and then you hear like it sounded like to me a bunch of cheers in the background, and the camera is just on Lawrence's face, and he's just like smiling, and his smile is growing. And to me, when I'm watching that scene, I was like, is it trying to say that he really does want to be the Pope, and he's like imagining himself as the Pope right now?
I didn't get that at all from that.
That's what I was thinking during that scene.
Interesting.
Just because I was like, why is this happening right now? And that's kind of
before seeing this film, I was already being recommended like Conclave ending explanation videos, so I'm sure I'll look into it. I know the turtle was a metaphor for something because there was a turtle in the middle of where he should not have been at all. He was in a sealed door, so it was impossible for him to be there. Also, at the shot you're talking about where he's smiling, he's actually floating in the air. If you notice that, he's levitating off the ground.
Really?
Yeah, and I didn't get that at all. And then the next shot is him just watching some sisters walk out of a building, and the door closes and it ends. And so I was a bit confused by the ending, but to me, that only made me want to go research what it meant. Like I kind of like those, again, this word keeps evading me today. The ambiguous
endings.
Fucking ambiguous ending. I enjoyed that because, again, we already were past the climax. The climax of the movie, it was amazing, you know. So there really was nothing for them to do with the ending. Like, I didn't know where it was gonna fucking go. So when they just ended it, I was just like, okay, like, cool, like the story's over, you know. But I do feel like there was some intention there with the turtle and the floating and his emotions that I would need to think about a little more.
No, yeah, there's some stuff that just it wasn't very clear.
Yeah.
And because of how I didn't like love the movie before that, whenever it ended, whenever the door closed, like I threw up my hands and I was just like, that's the ending?
That's
it.
it.
I was like, okay. I was like, all right.
Well, yeah, that's the movie. Talking about it made me like it so much more. I mean, anytime we talk about a movie, I feel like I like it more, unless it's a bad movie, and then I like it
less.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, talking about this movie has been great. It made me realize that this really is, I would say, I would again have to disagree. I don't think this is a boring movie. I feel like so much happened. I wrote so much down. It was almost hard to keep up with the amount of stuff happening. And I would honestly like to see it again.
I am not with you on that. I will not be rewatching this. I can't talk. I'll rewatch scenes from this movie for sure, because I think for me there are moments of where I was locked in. There are brilliant stuff in it and brilliant things in it. You know, I definitely think this discussion has helped me appreciate it more, even though I already kind of respected it, because like I said at the beginning of this, I just would not call this a bad movie by any stretch of the imagination, especially having talked about it, like how we haven't gone through it and everything. And I definitely appreciate not the ending. I still feel the same way about the ending, but I definitely appreciate the actual climax of the scene in the church. I appreciated that a lot more with this discussion. So
good. Hell yeah. Well, I know that we are going to talk about Shogun, but for those who are about to head out of here, what are we seeing next week? What's coming out next week, Jay?
Next week, let's see. Oh, next week is Here, the Robert Zemeckis, Tom Hanks movie that we keep seeing trailers for.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's and it's.
Is that about it? Is that I'm looking forward to that, but is there not anything else? I feel like we're at that time of the year.
We have a movie called Hit Pig, which the beginning of it, the poster of it has a giant blue elephant.
Okay.
So
sounds like Bong Joon-ho type shit. But
there's a movie. There's a movie called Blitz releasing on Apple TV Plus.
So no one's competing with Robert Zemeckis.
Doesn't look like it.
Yeah. Okay.
They're like, oh, Robert Zemeckis is like, we'll let him have his his weekend. So
well, hell yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that Tom Hanks movie. Hell yeah, Shogun,
bruh.
I know it's kind of been a little while for you now since you've seen it, so you've definitely had some time for it to linger and.
Oh, I've thought about it many, many, many times.
I think I want to jump directly to my favorite episode.
Okay.
Which is episode 8. I'm trying to look up the name of the episode, but it's right before episode 9, which I feel like episode 9 is like the true climax of the story. But what happens in episode 8, and again, this is going to be spoilers, guys, so if you've not seen Shogun, it's amazing. I think we've gushed about it enough to where you guys, if you've been listening, you know it's great. So just go watch it.
Just go watch it.
It's on Hulu. It's incredible. It's 10 episodes. If you like any sort of historical drama or samurai or Japanese
anything like
history,
that, you should watch it. I mean, I wouldn't even call this a warning, but just in case you don't like subtitles, half of it is in Japanese.
It is in Japanese.
And it's subtitled, and I don't think there's a dub for it. I don't think there is. So I guess prepare for that. But you should, man, even if you don't like subtitles, you should really try to power through that because it's such a great fucking show.
And the show it swept the Emmys. It absolutely killed it. And all the episodes on IMDb are all highly rated, which means they're all over 8s, I think. So I think the highest one is...
Yep, the highest one is 9.
9.4. So very high. And that's episode 9, which I see. But for me, the emotional impact of episode 8, which is the Abyss of Life, hit even harder because I think in episode 8, that's kind of when you first realize what Toranaga's grand plan is
the whole time.
And it's so savage and emotional and fucked up, but just like this is his plan. Like bro, Toranaga is such a complicated, interesting
He's so
character.
complex, dude.
He sacrifices his best friend's life. It's like me and you, bro. It's like if to accomplish your biggest goal in life, you had to let me kill myself, and I was willing to kill myself for
completely willing to kill yourself.
That is also the fucking beautiful thing.
Hesitation.
This is, the names are hard in the show.
Horomatsu?
His right hand man.
I think that's his name.
Understood
the assignment.
He understood what his goal was and willingly killed himself to prove a point, which was so. Oh my god, I had goosebumps. I did too, man.
Woo! The last 2 episodes, 8 and 9, I had goosebumps pretty much, like knots in my butterflies in my stomach the entire time.
And episode 9 is very much the big climax where not only does his best friend kill himself for the cause, but Mariko-sama, she also
a real life waifu,
puts her life in danger and eventually dies for the cause.
She does, and I don't think she completely understood that what Toranaga's plan completely was. But
I think she did.
You think she did? But do you think she pieced it together as it was happening? Like as they were getting attacked?
The moment in episode 8 where Toranaga first reveals his plan is actually a conversation with Mariko.
That's true.
Where it's after
That's true.
The dude kills himself, and they're having a conversation, and he's just like, I have to make it look real.
And she's wanted to die the entire show anyway.
She was definitely a willing pawn, but her relationship with John
is what
made her almost, contemplate it, not going through with it. And this is why she was happy that she didn't have to kill herself. Like that moment where John was, another fantastic moment where John was about to be her second, and can cut off her head after she slices her belly open, which I love that for a woman they conceal it, and it's more of a private thing, and it's not to be
a grotesque
to see, they don't want people to see it because the women are so revered and respected in this culture. But for the men, it's everyone, all the generals watch you kill yourself when you commit seppuku
right now.
Yeah, it's just all right, your turn. And dude, the guts falling out, they
make it's gory. When it gets gory, it's very graphic.
It is a very slow burn show.
It is,
and there's not a lot of action, but I like that because when there is action, it's so heavy.
So you feel every single swing, every death, everything, every slip on a rock.
So I appreciated that. Me some people will be like my dad, for instance, he'd probably be like, not enough action. It was boring. Fast forwarded. But I'm like, whatever.
it really is a slow burn, man, and you don't know the whole show. You don't know exactly where not just Toranaga, but John's viewpoints either. You clearly John doesn't like the Japans. You are savages.
The Japans.
Yeah.
Well, but that changes. That's his
changes.
His arc is that he does
absolutely changes. But even when he's going through that, he's still doing some of the things that they want him to do. So you never really get a full grasp on his plan, and then you find out at the end.
It's do you have a plan? I don't have a plan. I don't think he really has a plan.
No, the scene where he was about to commit seppuku, and then Toranaga stops him, that. In that scene, I think they both were we were using each other. That to me, that was what was communicated. From the moment I sat on this sand, he was like, I'm Taki. I think that's the word.
Taki. Enemy.
Yeah, enemy. I love that fucking scene.
Yeah.
So much. And then Toranaga just stops him and just, I'm going off. I love that
Toranaga
scene.
used the fuck out of John, for sure.
They both did. Oh, for sure.
How did John use Toranaga?
I think he was trying to use Toranaga to get his ship so he can.
But he wasn't nearly as smart as Toranaga.
No, I didn't say he was. No, I didn't say he was. No, okay. I'm simply making the point that I think they both wanted to use each other to each other's game.
I just feel like Toranaga was successful.
No, for sure. But I think
was trying.
He was trying, but I think that was the point, though.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that was the point.
Because when I look at John, I just feel like he's a baby. This whole show, he's like a big baby, just trying to he doesn't know the language. He needs an interpreter. Mariko-sama's basically his mom figure who he wants to bang, and he's a fucking barbarian. Everybody hates him. He's charming as fuck. I don't get it wrong.
I love him.
He's incredibly charming character, and he survives. He's a survivor. He's a fucking survivor. He's a badass ultimately. But Toranaga is the fucking mastermind like
behind everything.
An evil fucking genius, basically.
Oh, dude. And that's why the slow burn builds.
So it's so not black and white with good and evil. It's such a gray area for these characters.
He had to do the ultimate thing. He had to make ultimate sacrifices to achieve great peace.
Yeah.
And it's based off of true stuff, like loosely, so you know that he achieves that goal.
Names were changed, but it is based on basically the start of the great city of Edo in Japan. So, which is, I think, the second great city under Osaka. So, yeah, I mean, and Japanese culture, I've always loved it, but this time period specifically is just such a savage, brutal time. Definitely not a time you want to, like, if it's one of those Facebook posts like, oh, you wake up in the last show you watch,
you're fucked.
If it's Shogun, it's like, sorry, bro, like you're gonna get boiled to death or something.
I'm gonna die.
Yeah, unless you're Japanese, and then maybe you have a chance of surviving. But the language barrier there and the skin color definitely doesn't help us.
No, but I do love how, like, they made it even the residents in Japan so authentically, like, they have so much honor, and I feel like that was so realistic. Like, I actually have the cast.
The episode when
Blanito,
the gardener dies.
That too. I wasn't even thinking about that scene. I was thinking about in Mariko's husband. I think it's Benito or his character's name.
Her husband.
How he's tried to kill John. He's done some very, very bad things. And
basically tried to kill Mariko.
Basically.
Yeah.
And at the very end, when he bows to John, dude, I got fucking chills. Like I was like, this is
John earned that respect.
He's definitely earned that respect, and he was the last piece to bring their like what I told you the other day. They used the power of friendship to drag John's boat, his burnt boat, out the fucking lake, dude. And I loved it.
Yeah, no, great show, man. I'm super excited to watch Penguin. But what's up?
I'm thinking about the last shot of the show. Tornaga's like standing in front of Ito, and then you just see like the camera's behind him, and you just see like it looks like two wings, but it's just like a mountaintop. And when I saw that, I was like, this is definitely, and I never looked it up, but I was like, this definitely is resembling something like I saw some kind of symbolism, but I never looked it up.
Well, we got 2 more seasons.
We do.
We got 2 more seasons, so that's awesome.
And season 2 and season 3 are going to be completely original content. Because the book ended in the first season.
That can be scary as far as if it's going to be as quality. But
if it's the same creative team,
same production level,
I'll give.
If they keep the quality up, they don't make it. I like it to get more violent. I would, but don't like go crazy violent in second season. Maybe like I would like it to still be a slow burn.
Same.
And keep the violence like intense by not overdoing it, but I still would like it to be a bit more violent.
Bit, me too. Like instead of like
I was a little disappointed we didn't get the battle between Toranaga and whatever the fuck that his name was.
I kind of Ishido.
I really wanted to see that battle.
I did too.
But I get it. It's on a TV show budget.
I really did too.
Maybe we'll get more money and more crazy action.
But like the more I think, because like you said, I've watched this. I was watching this weekly, so like this ended I think in March. So I've had a long time to think about the ending, because I told you the other day I was with you. Like whenever it initially happened, I was like, oh, so they won before the war was even started.
Yeah.
But as I think about it, I was like, that's so fucking boss. Toranaga won a war he didn't even have to show up for.
That's true.
That's a boss fucking move, dog.
I mean, it showed it happening in the future. Like it showed the flash forward, but it's like he knew he won.
He knew he won because he knew that he wouldn't, like, Ishido would show up with no army.
Thanks to, again, of course, episode 9, Mariko's her death. Sacrifice, her death.
Her childhood friend that I can't remember.
Basically won them the army of the heir of the previous.
Lady, I can't remember her name. It's been a minute.
Dude, she was phenomenal.
I
mean, the actors all across the board, very authentic, obviously, because they're using authentic actors from the culture.
Right.
But the Japanese and high class women are just the way they talk and move. Like the Japanese culture of this time, everything is so very structured and so very like the way they pouring tea is an art, you know?
Right. Everything.
Like everything they do is like practiced, and I just feel like the actors did an amazing job of bringing that culture to life.
Oh yeah, because it feels like you really were there, like just
you
dropped
really
in this
were Japan on watching this.
You were part of the Japan.
You were in Japan. It makes you feel like you are Japan.
So we haven't, not to go on for too long, but we haven't talked about this character yet. But I think he's one of the best characters in the show. Yoshibi. The guy who he plays both sides literally the entire show, but like the actor does such a good job of going from I know what I'm doing to looking like a buffoon to playing the one side to playing and like genuinely wanting to help.
Because at first it's like they introduce him as a badass motherfucker. Like this dude ain't gonna make a mistake, and then makes it like literally right out like the first episode he said he almost dies and John saves him. But that instant bond between him and John was amazing when he basically like challenges him. Like John's like he gives him the rope and he's like,
that's true.
He's like, you fucking go like they're going to save the pilot who
Rodriguez.
And so he could have, this is like a higher lord, right? So he could have made any one of his many soldiers do it, but he like did it himself and earned John's mad respect, and then John had to go save him.
Correct.
So that was a great scene just to bring in this character.
No, it was, and him and Toranaga's final scene was great.
Yes.
It was so great.
Yes.
Even though of course, he had to end up dying because of what he did.
He was a very entertaining character throughout.
Very entertaining character, and but I love how I thought he was realistic. Like I know, like to that world, dude, he was probably like, I'm gonna do whatever I can to survive. But what I loved about it is that he was so shameful. Like he told his nephew or I think his nephew that like don't bury my body. Like he tells him like don't bury my body. I think he says let the wolves eat my remains or whatever because he didn't want to. He felt so regretted, but he did what he had to do to survive and he lost.
Yeah, he loses.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on it. I love that character.
Yeah, no, I'm glad we did. He's a really important character, for sure. But I think it is about time to get out of here.
Yeah, because I can talk Shogun.
We should have probably did a whole episode for Shogun.
We probably should have, because I can literally talk about this show the entire.
I would like to not edit a 3-hour podcast.
I understand.
So
where we're at right now.
We're at probably after editing, maybe like 70 minutes ish, or probably less than that actually. So maybe like an hour, probably like an hour.
Okay.
More. Yeah, not too bad.
Not too bad.
We're doing good, but I'm looking forward to seeing
here.
Yes, that is I'm unsure what the movie is going to be.
I really don't know.
Like it all seems like it's one frame. Like is the movie really going to be that one shot the whole movie?
I hope not, to be honest with you, because I can think 2 hours of that
could probably get tiring.
Get tiring.
Maybe Zemeckis could prove us wrong. He'd be the guy. I mean, I
hope so.
He's the fucking guy. You know?
I like the premise of it.
It's like the guy at the end of Spy Kids 4. He's Elisha Woods at the end of Spy Kids 3.
Oh my god.
He's the guy.
I'm the guy.
I'm gonna have to edit in Elijah Wood now.
And then
I'm the guy.
And then instantly just dies. And it's crazy because like when I watched Spy Kids 3 at the time as a kid, I had already watched Lord of the Rings, so I was like, oh dude, fucking Frodo's here to save the day.
That has to be why they cast him, because it was like right after Lord of the Rings.
It was peak Return of the King. I think Return of the King had just came out,
so it was for sure like it's fucking Frodo. Like we all
knew
had
who
that
was.
Same. If you had a good childhood at all, you knew who.
Correct.
Who that was. And shout out Spy Kids. I saw the fourth one, did not like it.
I never saw it.
I think it was semi-recent, right?
I think so, but it had like a 4D scratch and sniff shit like gimmick. Do you remember that?
I don't remember.
Dude, it was like a scratch and sniff smell thing. Like, hey, whatever they're smelling in the movie. Like, I remember watching Jeremy John's review of it, and he was just like, yeah, there's a point in the movie where a baby shits, and one of the smells was scratch and sniff smells was literally like shit.
Why would you scratch it?
That's what Jeremy's like. He tore that movie. I remember him tearing that movie apart, but I just.
But yeah, so Robert Zemeckis next week, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. If you listen to the whole thing, I love you. Even if you just listen to to that part of it, I mean, you guys are awesome.
Even if you clicked on this video, said fuck this, you still clicked on this video.
So yeah, please give this a thumbs up, subscribe, share it with your buddies. Whether we get 1 million views or 100 views, we're gonna keep doing this
because it's fun.
We love it. So
we love enjoying talking about movies and TV, and So Jordan, Joshua,
I will be here next week with you.
I will be in there next week with you too. Hopefully, hold on. Peace, guys. Peace. Thanks.